Hello, entrepreneurs and business owners. Welcome to the second episode of Entrepreneurial Edgecast. And in this episode, guys, as we had promised, we will be discussing about how recognition and how ensuring that you have personalized messages will make your brand next unicorn. And for this, I'll be taking the example of I'll be sharing few examples. One was of an interview which I had recently been approached for, and the second would be of a brand where I have actually changed the kind of impact that they had for their customers. And we'll be doing a kind of real end product study. For one of the e-commerce brands, I was approached a long time back, and where they had actually wanted to ensure that they don't have any kind of customer losses, or they don't have any cart abandonments. So for that, what they did was they approached me and they said, "Hey, how can we remove this from happening?" So it was a tough call, but I just visited them, and the first thing which I realized was that they didn't have any personalization. So what I mean by personalization was it was all about them. We have these products, and we are sharing these services, and we give this thing at this rate. But there was not a lot of absence of personalization, or a lot of absence of recognition. So what do I mean by that is, if you actually go across on Amazon and you check out, they have a complete stream of products which they are actually personalizing for you, and they say that based on your last recent purchases, we believe that you would be interested in this. They don't say that you will want to purchase this. They say you are interested in these, and they personalize the products based on whatever you have bought last and what you could be looking for. I mean, it's not basically on any hard fast rule, but the moment you see that, your attention is grabbed, and you are actually looking at it with far more trying to understand how is this relevant, or how can this help, and that actually builds a rapport, and you stay on the site for longer. And at times you actually click on trying to add that to the cart, because you realize that probably based on whatever you purchased before, this could be making useful. Or they also give repeat purchases based on what you have purchased last. I mean, if you are in that kind of activities, I mean, so immediately the attention is grabbed of the customer, and they don't just bounce off, or they're not just leaving because they just don't find any personalization. So to give you an example of how exactly a brand can use personalization and callback for their advantage would be, in a recent interview, what I had faced was on June 2nd or something. Some HR tried to reach out to me, and she left a message saying that I tried to reach out, and unfortunately your number blocked me or something, but I have not been able to reach you. Kindly give me a call back. So I called her back, and she told me that there was an opening for the CMO level, and she explained about a little bit about the company without actually divulging the company name. And she told me that this kind of budget that they have. Would you be interested? After I shared my interest, I immediately raised a concern with her that this, though you have given me this budget, I want a bit higher, because I will also have to relocate. She said, let me get back to you, and the discussion went off normal way. And after that, post that, I didn't have a recognition. She didn't recognize me, thanking me for kind of a discussion. There was no email from her, there was no message from her, and in fact, it was kind of struggling to even remember what the company's name was, because I didn't think that she mentioned that. I understand that it was a client, but she could have just dropped in a message stating, we discussed this, and I'll get back to you on this. But that was not there, and post almost 15-20 days after I reached back to her, her first question was, who is this? So I mean, you realize the kind of impact that could have had on me, the person who is giving the interview. But I wasn't thinking much. Probably she would have been busy with something else. Probably she lost, or she did not save the number. And immediately I pinged her stating, we were discussing on this role, and you had discussed this. So has there been an update on the customer from the client end? And the first thing that she said was, yeah, we have the update. They are happy with that. We are ready to go ahead. And they had updated me the very next day. So understand that firstly there was no recognition, there was no kind of personalization, in her message back. And third, and the most important thing, that she had not updated me on the next process. And after going through all of that, I did have a few rounds of interview. One was with their own, marketing person, who actually asked me some questions and gave me some feedback. Where I had actually updated them that I was ready with a document which could actually share across the strategies which I would like to implement if I'm coming on as a CMO. Now you understand that I have actually given them I've given them a fair amount of idea that I was ready with the template, I was ready with the strategy and everything. But I didn't receive anything from them, and post that I had to actually follow up kind of again from my end, trying to understand where's the lag. Then I was updated that the CEO was traveling, and so guys, what I want to be to say is, I'm not trying to say something negative, but there was a lot of hoops and turns that I had to jump through just to get through the interview. And during the CEO's round, my biggest concern was, firstly, the CEO didn't know my name. Second, he didn't mention the document, he didn't mention the strategy which I shared across with the HR, so that he could have a look at it. And before the interview, we were on the same page with my thought process, and trying to understand what the brand wanted or what the company wanted from me, or if my strategies or if my kind of thing could have helped. But having said that, and kind of going across, I actually trying to level it out with the CEO. But post all of that, the message which I got from the HR was that they were giving me the exact same amount which I had asked a raised on. Now you understand that problem was that there was no recognition, there was no kind of personalization. So my connect with the brand did not happen. And in fact, I had to follow up on every aspect of the whole journey, which is where it became more like a business deal rather than So I didn't want to come down on my salary expectation, and in the end, the position was put on hold, and a lot of other things happened. But the lack of personalization is what actually made me feel that I should not actually go down, because this is a business deal rather than a personal kind of connect. So had the CEO or had the anyone from the company kind of connected with me and discussed with me, or even if the mention of the document had happened, I would have been personally connected with the person, and probably that would have made a substantial kind of difference, because then I would have recognized the brand and I would have remembered them for throughout my life. So giving an example of how or why I actually have a tremendous amount of respect for Steve Jobs would be that in 1996, because of my mom's earlier connect with him, he had agreed to talk to me on a good day. Okay, so it was probably the 5th or 6th of June, probably in the late night hours, wee hours of 1 or 2ish. My mom had connected with me on the PC, and viewing him smiling and available already there was a substantial difference. So you have to understand that he had given us time, and we logged in 5-10 minutes before, so that we could connect with him, be ready and be on time. But he was well there, and the moment we connected, he accepted the connection and he immediately responded with a smile. And the best part of it was he added the elements of recognition where he knew me by my name. I was a kid, almost 10 years old. So imagine a 10-year-old kid who is grumpy, sleepy, and just trying to open his eyes, and you name the person with a very good smile, and you just say, "Hey, Krishna Mohan Avancha, so how are you doing, son?" I mean, there was personalization, there was a kind of recognition, and there was a lot of warmth in the voice. So you have to understand that when these activities actually come into picture, I remember Steve Jobs throughout my life just for that little activity. And also, as I was talking about this brand for which I had done personalization, let me explain how I did this. Was that I created 3 email IDs which people could actually kind of log their inputs, or they kind of they could share the suggestions or feedbacks. So what used to happen was, the moment an email would come, the first thing would happen was the CRM would be hit, and the CRM would check what was the customer all about, and when was this customer, what he had ordered, how was this customer coming to us, and what was the email ID. And the moment it would hit the email ID, there would be notifications sent to three most important prominent people. That was one was me, who was more into the technical stuff. So if the customer was commenting or requesting for some technical backup, that was where I would be answering that email. Then there was a second person who was a sales person. If the person was looking for more trying to purchase something or needed help with that, then he would be notified. And the third and the most important email was going to the CEO of the company, where in case the person wanted to share some feedback, the CEO would take it up and he would and within the next 2 or 3 minutes, there would be email sent to the customer with the name of the person who is going to work on this email or work on this request, and in how much what is the time lab behind, after which they can expect this email. So what happened because of this structure was that the moment the brand was approached, the feedback was given, irrespective of whether it be logistics, whether it be about the product, whether it be about anything about the activity of the company. Then immediately there were three most important people who were consistently doing the work and checking round the clock of any emails coming to that email ID. So the CEO knew exactly what was the kind of feedback, what was the kind of customer expectations that was coming, and what is it that he or she should be looking up for the product expectations, the expectation of services. Everything was they were aware of it. Then the sales guy knew exactly what the customers are going to be talking about. The CRM was well updated. So what used to happen was the personalization would go with respect to we recognize the customer stating, because you have taken this effort, this is the person who will be reaching back to you on this, and this is the time gap after which you will be getting that email. So you have personalization, you have customization, you also have a recognition for the efforts that they have taken to email the brand. And so all of this actually helps, because that actually got us repeat orders of more than 80%, where the brand was suffering with cart abandonment. That was reduced to almost 5%. So you can imagine that brand which was having more than 80-90% of cart abandonment because of various other issues, now was getting more than 80% repeat orders month on month, and the revenue obviously shot up, and we were getting much better kind of feedbacks, and the whole product journey was improved. The whole platform was moved from very most basic e-commerce platform to a brand where we were getting more than 80% repeat orders, as I said, and now the customer was more involved in the whole process. So you have to understand that because of just simple aspects of recognition and personalization, we had so much of impact, because we had kind of connected our CRM with the emails and kind of feedbacks, and we encouraged those things. Because of which, what used to happen was, any time that the customer actually feels the need to reach out, they could reach out, and they knew that they would be getting adequate amount of time and effort spent from the brand as well. So what happened was, the brand actually got a lot of better feedback, and we would then take on to other aspects of it. Like we also had webinars, we also had different kind of manuals, we had a different kind of brochures which are printed, which were shared across, which was actually also brought into picture. A lot more product expansion happened because the products expansion happened because of the kind of feedbacks that we used to get. Once the customer was adequately personalized and was getting that kind of feeling from the brand, they used to ask us to add more products. So that actually brought more products on the platform, and that actually kind of expanded the business, and we expanded the business to the point where we actually had to add a better CRM, better kind of loops, better kind of feedback forms and everything, because then the customer is interacting and he's improvising, he's improving the platform all by himself. So that is very important aspect of entrepreneur marketing or entrepreneur activity, which I definitely indulge in. And I would definitely want, because of personalization and because of kind of recognition, the brand can take off, and you don't need to be a big company. You can, even with 3 people, as you just saw, we had actually expanded the product, and obviously we had to hire more employees because there was more, products and brands that we had to actually manage under this. Okay, I would not want to take too much of your time. I've already taken 15 minutes. So just to kind of sum up, the next kind of video which will be there tomorrow would be more about how we can actually ensure that proper customer feedback kind of takes the brand to miles ahead. Okay, and see you there. Do subscribe and keep the messages coming up. Thank you.